So, earlier today, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer had this to say on Twitter. He said, and I quote, "This is a once-in-a-century health and economic crisis. Only big, bold action is called for. The Senate is moving full steam ahead on our bold plan to address this health and economic crisis." Now, I share this with you for one main reason. Many progressives are calling for this exact same thing, big and bold action. But what we are hearing is that many members of both the House and the Senate are not completely satisfied with the $1.9 trillion stimulus package that is getting proposed. For example, big and bold action would be providing $2,000 stimulus checks to the American people. We could even go a step further and say big and bold action would be providing $2,000 monthly stimulus checks. This is what this group of progressives is asking for. Democrats keep saying big, bold, safer, stronger, retroactive. They use all these great terms, which in retrospect mean absolutely nothing if they don't do what they say. That's what these progressives are telling us. That why, if Democrats hold all the power at this point, why are they not pushing through more stimulus? Some economists say because this could lead to inflation much sooner than some expect and the economy needs. But others say that we need and some form of inflation is a good thing. So we will see. But what Chuck Schumer says is big and bold is what progressives call not enough. So here's what we know. Democrats, progressives, Republicans, right? They all have different agendas. Even President Biden has a different agenda than what this group of Democrats are even asking for and even proposing. So that's creating more and more issues. Now, this is more than any of the stimulus checks that we have received, this additional $1,400. So that's great, but this is not considered big and bold to most people. Most Americans, the majority of Americans, they support a $2,000 stimulus check, not a $1,400 stimulus check. But when asked, many people would say they do support getting a check compared to getting nothing at all. So I guess that is somewhat of good news. But let me ask you, how much would you need to get through this pandemic, get through this crisis? Would you be comfortable with a $1,400 stimulus check? Would $2,000, is that necessarily what you need? Not what you want, but what do you need? Or do you require a monthly stimulus check? What is it? Let me know down in the comment section below, because I know a lot of people currently a $1,400 stimulus check would pay maybe a month of their rent, maybe a month of their mortgage. Isn't going to pay to put food on the table, get back from you being months and months behind on utilities or car payments, and it's really going to do very little for them. They're going to get it and they will spend that money. So let me know down in the comment section below. What will you need to get through this pandemic? I do applaud Congress. Okay, I honestly do. I do applaud Congress for not lowering the stimulus amount, not lowering this past $1,400, because some were saying let's do $1,000. Some were saying let's do $1,200. And then we heard from a lot of people saying let's lower the income threshold for the eligibility. But this is not what they're trying to do. This is not what Democrats have in mind. Right now, what we know is this bill, and again, it hasn't passed, but this bill has in it where the thresholds for your income threshold are going to be the exact same. The only difference is the phase outs will be quicker. That is it. So yes, it is going to eliminate those higher income earners that earn $300,000. They will not be able to get this stimulus check. But the people that were negatively impacted due to this pandemic, they will get this stimulus check and they will see some form of relief. What we are hearing is that the fight for this entire stimulus package is not yet over. It's not even close. We will see more legislation included into this package. We know this, but I just wanted to reiterate that it is going to happen. We will see provisions within this bill that provide money to different places that we didn't even hear about, simply because that's the way bills work. And we will see lawmakers add in their own personal touches. Some of these we may like, and some we will most likely absolutely hate. But that's the way bills are written, and we just have to live with it. What I can tell you is that some people are already celebrating but there's really nothing to celebrate yet. When both the House and Senate go ahead and pass this bill and it is signed into law by President Biden, that's a good time to get excited. But I would not be celebrating until your stimulus checks are deposited into your bank account, because as we know, the IRS makes mistakes. They make a lot of mistakes, and they will send millions and millions of dollars away to H&R Block, to TurboTax, to Jackson Hewitt, to even other countries before we get the money. So it's a little premature to be celebrating at this time. What I can tell you right now is that today President Biden had a meeting with some powerful CEOs. He met with the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Walmart, and even Gap. And in this meeting, President Biden, his only goal, he was wanting to get all of these CEOs on board and back his $1.9 trillion stimulus package. But according to one report, this meeting could also introduce other pieces of legislation within this stimulus package. Right now, we have a very solid framework, but there is still time to add in more provisions. What we are hearing is that this could have been a time where these CEOs tried to pitch their own agendas. They tried to pitch their own ideas onto President Biden, so hopefully he will bring those to Democrats and they will put those in their bills. But we will see. Again, only time will tell. But what I can tell you is this is one way to get your ideas and your agendas into this package, is to go to the White House, talk to the president himself, and try to urge him to push something through. So we will see. But what we know is that we cannot wait any longer for additional stimulus. The American people are hurting, the economy is struggling, and we need help. We need help now. Even Chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, Richard Neal, he had this to say today. He said, "From increasing direct assistance to those who need it, most to expanding tax credits for low and middle income workers, we deliver substantial solutions in this package. While it is still our hope that Republicans will join us in doing right by the American people, the urgency of the moment demands that we act without further delay." Now that is good. We cannot wait any longer. But from what we are hearing right now, some Democrats are a little bit upset by the fact that their caucus is trying to get bipartisan support from Republicans who do not want anything to do with this bill. And in doing so, they're making the bill smaller. Let me give you an example. For instance, the stimulus checks, the $1,400. They were supposed to be $2,000, now they're $1,400. In addition to that, Republicans said we are providing stimulus checks to too many people. We need to kind of wrangle this back. Okay, we're pulling the reins, and we need to provide the stimulus checks to less people by lowering the income eligibility. Ultimately, they decided against that, which I think is great. I think by providing a $1,400 stimulus check to all those that received a $600 stimulus check, you have to do that, but also include adult dependents as well. But here's another example. Right now, we know that the unemployment extension only goes through August 29th. It does not go through September 30th like President Biden originally planned. Here's what we're hearing. Based on a few reports this afternoon, we are hearing that the reason why they did this is because this is actually a way to somewhat bring in bipartisanship from Republicans. Instead of lowering the amount to $300 and extending it all the way into September, they decided let's do $400 starting March 14th all the way through August 29th. That's what we're hearing. Again, these are just reports. Until we see this bill actually signed, again, everything can change. These can be amended easily. So we will see. In addition to the unemployment benefits included in this draft bill, okay, here are some other key proposed measures that are going to be included that we know of at this point. Okay, we know the $1,400 stimulus checks with anybody that has an income of $75,000 for individuals and lower, and $150,000 and lower for couples. They want to fully expand or fully refundable child tax credit This is going to be that $3,000 child tax credit. They're going to expand this, so it's going to be $3,000 for children between 6 and 17 and $3,600 for children between 0 and 5. They're also increasing the Affordable Cares Act premium tax credits. This is going to reduce healthcare premiums for low and middle income families. This is going to be fairly big. This is going to help people save some money on the premiums, which should be a pretty good thing. I know a lot of people absolutely hate talking about health insurance and really any insurance in general simply because of their premiums, their deductibles, and the costs associated with them. We're also going to see they're going to be stabilizing pensions for more than 1 million Americans and increasing public health and social services. That's what we know right now. We also know that the House Education and Labor Committee yesterday released in its draft bill includes a $15 federal minimum wage increase. This already is getting some pushback by some Senate Democrats, but it's also getting major pushback from Republicans both in the House and the Senate. What we know is they are still going to fight for this. This does look likely that it can be included in the budget reconciliation. Bernie Sanders said that it could. His staff said it could. And so now we are seeing that it can. What I can tell you is there are some reports out there that state this is actually going to cause harm in the initial stages of implementing this additional, this higher minimum wage. So because that, some people could be let go, some businesses could ultimately just shut their doors, and it will impact the economy negatively initially. But in the long run, and this is what they're looking at, this could potentially be a big move, and it could be beneficial to millions and millions of Americans. We also know in this bill, they are going to be providing $130 billion to safely reopen K-12 schools, which is essential. I have 3 kids, 2 of which are in school at this time. One, he's only 1, so he obviously doesn't go to school. But opening schools is needed. I feel the effects. I know my kids are feeling the effects. We still teach them every single day. They still do their schoolwork and online, and we still teach them stuff even outside of school, like finances and other things. That's just what I like to do. But it's been helping. It's been helping to have kids interact. This is a big issue, and so opening K-12 schools is going to be very beneficial to not only the kids but the parents as well. These committees are beginning to put this bill together. But as many lawmakers have already stated, this isn't expected to even be voted on within the House until after February 22nd. So we still have some time. We still have about a week and a half. Then, after it gets passed by the House, it will be kicked over to the Senate. Hopefully, it will go to a vote. But this won't happen until after they debate on this, which most likely, according to many senators, isn't going to happen until sometime after March 1st. So we still have a little bit of time there. And as long as we do not see any amendments within the House, then we will see this get passed. But if there's amendment, it will go back to the House. It will have to be voted on there as well, passed, and then it can go over to President Biden's desk for a signature. But as long as we don't see any amendments, we could potentially see this before March 14th. We could get it passed before March 14th, which means stimulus checks could come out quickly. They could come out before the end of March, which would be essential, which would be needed for millions and millions of Americans. And also, the unemployment benefits, they will increase. If we don't pass this before March 14th, the unemployment benefits go from $300 per week down to $0 per week until this bill gets passed. And then it goes to $400 per week from March 14th to August 29th. All right, that's what we're hearing. So, as we hear more regarding what is in this package, what is currently being discussed, I promise I will come back and update you on all those things. So just want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I'll see you guys on the next one.